The dream of homeownership is slipping away for many Americans. Today, I read an interesting article on foxbusiness.com written by Breck Dumas titled Home Affordability Crisis Taking a Toll on America's Young Adults. According to the author, the ability to buy a home has become increasingly difficult in the U.S. in recent years, and some experts are concerned about the long-term impact on young adults who currently have a higher hill to climb to achieve the American dream than previous generations. Here are my initial thoughts. Owning a home is still within reach if young people want it bad enough. I'm going to be optimistic here. If a young person can find a way to bring in multiple sources of income and reduce living expenses to a minimum, it may be possible to save up enough money for a large enough down payment to purchase a home. This may be necessary given the high prices for homes in some areas. Some people may not earn enough money to qualify even when working multiple jobs, so it may be necessary to put a large down payment on the home, thereby reducing the amount to be financed. When I was young, I had multiple roommates in an apartment to keep my living costs as low as possible. I'd also find ways to keep my grocery costs at a minimum. The apartment complex was next door to a buffet that had this great deal. You could pay a flat fee for anything you could fit in a box that they would give you. I'd stuff that box full and squish it down and fill it some more. I'd eat off that food for quite some time when I got it home. I also worked multiple jobs and did everything possible to save as much cash. Every day, I would drive through areas where I wanted to purchase a property. I wanted to see what type of properties popped on the market. I'd talk with people I saw outside in their yards. I'd also talk to landlords in the area to get to know them. I wanted to have an understanding of what was going on in these different areas. I also spoke with real estate agents about what these properties sold for and why. I wanted to make sure I understood these markets before investing in a property. Even though I was living cheap and saving money, I still needed more. I had a very nice car at the time. I sold it to raise additional cash. I started driving a beater. I ended up finding a rental property for sale by owner one day. I called the guy up and he gave me a tour. He introduced me to his accountant and property manager to go over the cash flow. This guy was pretty much an absentee landlord, and he referred me to these guys to get the information I wanted. I ended up not buying that property, but the guys I spoke with told me about another property they knew of. I ended up looking at it and buying it. I didn't move into it. I did a light renovation, increased the rent, and secured new tenants. After paying the mortgage, I had extra cash flow left over each month. I used some to pay towards the principal. I set some aside for repairs, and I saved the rest. I ended up buying a second property, which I moved into, and I moved several of my friends in with me and started charging them rent. Their rent covered my second mortgage payment, and we split utilities. I was basically living there for free. This allowed me to set more money aside to invest. I might mention, this all happened in an interest rate environment that wasn't too different than what we have today. Sure, the real estate prices were less back then, but so were wages. Not everyone is willing to live cheap and work multiple jobs like I did. I'm sure people aren't willing to live in a porch either. When I bought that second property, I let my friends have the nice rooms in the house. I added a wall and a closet to an old porch and I moved in there. I added an HVAC vent in the room, but the porch had a lot of windows and the HVAC duct run was very far from the furnace. It got extremely cold in that room during the winter and extremely hot in there during the summer. It was only 90 square feet, so it would barely accommodate a twin bed and a desk. I don't think your average American is ready to live like that to get their financial footing. There are still ways that some people could potentially purchase a home even if they can't save much. There are USDA mortgages available which are 0% down. Of course, you'll have to move to a rural area that qualifies for one of these USDA mortgages. I'd like people to consider another possibility. Housing prices could come down in the future. The real estate market has slowed in many areas of the country. It's certainly possible that the trend could continue. Some stubborn sellers may need to get realistic with their prices at some point. Only time will tell. Recently here on the channel, I told everyone about a guy that I know who has been in the mortgage industry for most of his adult life. He quit the industry and got a job as a supervisor in a factory. He just can't make enough in the mortgage industry right now to survive. He said not enough people are buying homes and no one wants to refinance given our current interest rate environment. I'd like to get back to the article that I read today. The author referenced Dr. David Phelps, a financial expert and founder of the real estate investing community Freedom Founders, who said the average salary in America allows a home buyer to afford a home that costs $110,928, which is a fraction of the median home price of $420,400. He said, and I'll quote, "It's not just a matter of making coffee at home and skipping the avocado toast. The math doesn't work for Gen Z." Here are my thoughts. There are still places in America where you can buy a $110,000 home. Some are habitable and some are not. I agree with this individual that skipping avocado toast and making coffee at home may not be enough. As I described earlier, I went to the extreme to get my financial footing. I didn't get much sleep. I didn't have much of a social life. I had to work multiple jobs. I certainly wasn't comfortable sleeping in a porch. I didn't enjoy getting up extra early each morning just in case my beater car didn't start before needing to go to work at my full-time job. All of these sacrifices were the only way I knew to get ahead financially. If you want a home bad enough, go after it. Make a plan and see it through. Work hard and be strategic and complete plenty of due diligence prior to making decisions. The dream of home ownership could become a reality. But what do I know? I'm just some guy on YouTube. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing to the channel. I want to extend a special thanks to everyone who has subscribed to this channel. I want to also thank all of my channel members. If you would like to become a channel member, there is a link in the description beneath this video. You can read more about the different membership levels. Please also check out some of the great books that I suggest you consider reading in the description below. I've included Amazon affiliate links to these books. As an Amazon associate, I earn from qualifying purchases. Stay healthy and wealthy. I'll see everyone in the next video.